Loki is most probably a character who owns the past and the most troubled growth trip second of the Marvel Universe. From when he was a villain devising tricks to become Asgard's savior and raise even the intention to kill off the crazy Titan, Loki was still favored by Marvel to bring back and write a fresh story after he died. So let's go through it together today. Heroic moment of the character that no one can hate. Due to being born with a weak body, not long after the war between the Ice Giants and the Asgardians, Loki is a son of Laufey, king of the Ice Giants of Jotunheim. Odin found him and took pity on the boy, altering Loki's appearance with magic and bringing him back to Asgard to raise. While Odin spends most of his time teaching Thor how to fight, Frigga teaches Loki how to use magic in order to make up for his adoptive son's lack of devotion. She didn't expect him to learn so rapidly and quickly become a master in this field. However, Loki still feels like a shadow of Thor and is always jealous that Thor will become king. It was that jealousy that turned him into a more scheming and cunning ambitious man. Even Loki is willing to do anything to achieve his goal. Right in the middle of Thor's coronation, the Ice Giant broke into Asgard to steal treasure casket of ancient winters. Fortunately, the destroyer quickly annihilated them all. However, Thor was still angry. He wanted to personally punish Jotunheim, but Odin objected. Loki is well aware that his moment has arrived. He just kept quiet and made his own plans, fully aware that the god of thunder is unable to control his rage. Thor and Loki happily set off to Jotunheim, believing Loki's word, but right before that, Loki, god of mischief, ordered his men to alert Odin so that he could come rescue them and punish Thor. When the party arrives in Jotunheim, an earth-shattering battle took place. Loki encounters an ice giant, but he is not burned, but his skin turns blue like them. That's when he discovered that he was a fellow of those brazen butchers. The tension of the battle escalated rapidly. Thor's group was cornered, but Odin appeared just in time and rescued the foolish children. Thor's irresponsible acts infuriated the god of wisdom. He thought it was silly of him to believe that his son was ready to take the throne of Asgard. Odin took the hammer Mjolnir and all of Thor's powers away from him to teach him a lesson, then dropped down him to the earth. Curious about his own origins, Loki breaks into Odin's vault to find the treasure casket of ancient winters and uncovers a piece of his past. He asked Odin to reveal everything, and the father had to tell the truth. However, Loki does not accept that answer, much less believes that his presence will promote the peace of the Nine Realms. He asks Odin if he is a monster, or is it just a feat that he brought back to take advantage of. This caused his father a lot of pain, and quickly fell asleep. Odin sleep. Loki turns to Frigga again and is explained by his mother that they don't want to make him feel different from the other Asgardians. She also comforts her son, hold on to the faith until Odin wakes up and Thor returns to Asgard. However, the god of mischief did not listen and took the throne. To make sure power is firmly in his hand, Loki went to Thor and lied to him that Odin was dead. Also announced that he was forbidden to return to his hometown. Excited to know for sure no one can stop him, Loki returns to Asgard, but before it, he tried the hammer Mjolnir, but unfortunately, the hammer rejected the god of mischief. Loki then went to Jotunheim as attempt to make a deal with his real father. He wants to borrow Laufey's hand in order to slay Odin and gain the Asgardians' acceptance as ruler. When Loki returns to Asgard, he encounters Heimdall, who suspects him because he can't see anything in Jotunheim. After learning that Sif and Warrior 3 had come down to Earth to meet Thor, Loki ordered the destroyer to come down and destroy them. Not only that, he also decided to silence all those who intend to oppose him in Asgard. But Loki did not expect that sending the destroyer to the ground would be the opportunity to help Thor prove that Thor was worthy. The god of thunder lifts the hammer Mjolnir, regains his strength and defeats Asgard's machine of destruction. Loki is scared and hastened his plan. He took Laufey and the ice giants to Asgard and ordered them to kill Odin while he was still sleeping. However, Loki betrayed his real father. He used Odin's staff to kill Laufey. Just then Thor returned to Asgard. The two brothers fought hard. The Bifrost Bridge was heavily destroyed. At that same moment Odin awoke from his sleep and heard the confessions of his adopted son. Loki says he did everything to gain Odin's trust, but he always ignores him. Loki is disappointed, let go of Thor's hand and fell into endless space. But Loki did not die, but met Thanos. He ordered Loki to come to Earth to retrieve the Tesseract. In return, the Mad Titan gave him a staff containing a Mind Stone capable of manipulating people's minds. Loki then goes to a S.H.I.E.L.D. base to steal the Tesseract. He manipulates Clint Barton and the agents of this organization, confront Nick Fury and Maria Hill and escape quickly. Loki's next mission is to find the Iridium, to power the Gate teleportation, to bring the Chitauri army to Earth. He went to Germany to gather ingredients, but was caught by Iron Man and the Captain America on the way to escort Loki back to S.H.I.E.L.D. Captain America and Iron Man clashed with Thor, but soon the three of them found common ground, and the God of Thunder decided to help the Earth heroes. After being sent to the helicarrier, Loki is interrogated by Nick Fury and Black Widow respectively, but they get nothing out of Loki. Not long after being imprisoned, Clint Barton comes to the rescue of Loki. The explosion injured Bruce Banner. He turned into a Hulk and then the crazy one on the spaceship. Loki then used an illusion to trick Thor into his cell and release his brother to the ground. He returned to the Stark Tower where Dr. Selvig sent the army above the space gate down to Earth, and here he was tricked by Iron. Then got into a fight with Thor and ended up getting beaten to death by Hulk. The battle in New York is over. Iron Man brings the nuclear bomb through the space hole to stop the Chitauri. Loki continued to fail painfully, and was sent back to Asgard to be imprisoned. So until one day the Dark Elves led by Malekith attacked Asgard to get the Ether artifact in Jane Foster's body. The battle left Asgard badly damaged, but Loki didn't care. However, when he heard that his mother had passed away, he went mad and smashed the whole room in vain. Thor then took Loki out of the prison because only he knew the way out of Asgard. Since the Bifrost Bridge was broken, Loki, along with Thor and Jane Foster, board a spaceship that flies through a secret passage to Svartalfheim before confronting the villain. The two brothers talked very intimately, and it seemed that Thor had put all his hopes on his brother, both implementing Loki's plan to trick Malekith, but failed. Malekith obtains the Ether, and Loki lost his life under Curse's blade right in front of Thor. But once again Loki escaped the scythe of death. Loki turns into a soldier back to Asgard, and reports to Odin that Loki is dead. He then uses magic to erase the memory of his father and Sif, then send them down to Earth. And in Asgard Loki turns into Odin and monopolizes the throne. He also did not forget to banish Heimdall and ordered Curse to guard the Bifrost Bridge. Having fun on the throne for a while, Loki is startled to see Thor return to Asgard, witness and Odin having fun. Thor knew for sure that it was Loki, and forced his brother to reveal his true form. The two went down to Earth to find their father, and meet Doctor Strange. While Thor and Doctor Strange talked about work, Loki was left in a free fall for 30 minutes. Thanks to Strange, the brothers reunited with Odin, now fully awake. This is also the last time the father and son sat down to talk before the God of Wisdom passed away. But Odin's eldest daughter reappeared as soon as he vanished, seeking vengeance. Hela easily crushed the Mjolnir to the surprise of Thor and Loki, who were both forced to flee by the Bifrost Bridge, and were chased by Hela. However, they got lost in Sakaar, and Hera went back to Asgard. At Sakaar Loki becomes friends with Scrapper, while Thor is forced to become a gladiator and must fight Hulk. After Thor fled, Loki and Valkyrie were ordered by the Grand Master to search for the God of Thunder. Loki reads Valkyrie's memory, and sees the entire army destroyed by Hela. Now there is only one survivor. Of course, every bad thing has a price. Loki was beaten in the face and tied up, and returned to Loki's brother. Together, Loki and Thor fight against the Grandmaster's army and steal one of his ships. Loki thought he could fool his brother, but he didn't expect God of Mischief to be. Thor himself cheated. Fortunately, Loki was helped by Korg's resistance army after that. At that time in Asgard a great battle broke out, and when the people of Asgard were cornered, the savior Loki appeared to take them all into the airship. Loki listens to Thor's orders to return to Asgard's vault and throw Surtur's crown into the eternal flames, but he doesn't forget to steal the Tesseract as well. Surtur is reborn, the hot giant ravaging Asgard as prophesied. As a result, the planet, including Hela, was engulfed in flames. After all escaped, Thor became the new king of Asgard, bringing the people to Earth and starting a new era. However, shortly after that, all the remaining Asgardians had to face Thanos. After he obtained the Power Stone from Xander, the Mad Titan attacked the Asgard ship and killed almost all of inhabitants. Valkyrie, Korg and Meek quickly put the people. The rest fled to Earth. Meanwhile Thor, Loki, Hulk and Heimdall stay behind to stop the Mad Titan but failed. Before he died, Heimdall quickly brought Hulk down to Earth to tell the heroes, and Loki was murdered by Thanos for treason. 5 years after Thanos' snap, The Avengers go back in time to collect the Infinity Stones. A group travels back to 2012 in New York to retrieve the Tesseract. A rare incident causes the cube to fall into the hands of this timeline's Loki, and he uses it to escape. But soon after, he was captured by a group of B-15 hunters and brought to the headquarters of Time Variance Authority, TVA. Here, he was presented about the formation of this organization and the reason I was arrested. There were many parallel timelines from the beginning, and a huge multiverse war erupted. Entities called Timekeepers solved it all, and at the same time they merged all the timelines into one, called Sacred Timeline. The Sacred Timeline isn't stable though. With just a few small actions contrary to what is supposed to happen, it will trigger a Nexus event that causes the Sacred Timeline to grow other branches. Loki's use of the Tesseract to escape is an example, and Nexus event creators like Loki will be referred to as variants. To deal with time variations and branches, the Timekeepers created the TVA organization, with the task of tracing and eradicating those variations and keeping the Sacred Timeline stable. When Loki was about to be wiped out during the trial, Agent Mobius appeared and rescued him, asking him to look for another Loki variant. Loki is first defiant, but after knowing about the Sacred Timeline, he resolves to assist Mobius. After that variant hit Oshkosh in 1985, Loki and Mobius come to investigate. He warned that he knew this variant best, and was sure he had foreseen TVA's plan, and set the trap in advance. Returning to headquarters, Loki decides to investigate this mutant, only to find out that apocalyptic events will still take place, no matter who influences them. From this he concludes that the apocalypse will be the perfect hiding place for the Loki variant with the candy box from the scene. Mobius and Loki find out where the other variant is hiding. That's the storm that will destroy Obama in 2050. There, he finds that his female variant was able to create a Nexus event wherever she went to lure the Timekeepers guards to solve it. Her aim is to obtain the TemPads and the devices that erase the timeline. When the time comes, she sends them to each landmark in the Sacred Timeline, and causes multiple branches of time to form at the same time. Timekeepers guards were sent. Clearing the mess created a good opportunity for the female Loki variant to infiltrate TVA. After fighting for a while, the two Lokis fall to the moon Lamentus, where it is about to collide on its own planet. At this point, TemPad is out of fuel, so it can't be used anymore, and the two Lokis have to find another way to return. Here the female Loki variant also revealed her alias Sylvie. The two quickly disguised and boarded the lifeboat. Here Loki was drunk, singing and dancing, and both of them were thrown from the ship. TemPad is badly damaged, but both continue to reconcile and walk to the rocket that will take people off this planet. Loki finds along the way that the Timekeepers do not create TVA agents, instead, they are all brainwashed variations. When Loki and Sylvie arrived at the scene of the riot and the rocket explosion, all they could think about was dying on a strange planet. In the final moments, Sylvie reveals to Loki about her past and the deep feud with TVA. Just then, TVA found a time branch that spawned in Lamentus, and came to capture both variants. Loki reveals what he is just new to Mobius, which worries. Then Mobius goes to Judge Renslayer to investigate. After swapping TemPad, Mobius found out that everything was exactly what Loki said. C-20 recovered his memory but was later killed by Renslayer to cover the clue. At the same time, Sylvie B-15 regained her memories and helped this Loki variant against TVA. Mobius, he decided to release Loki. At that moment he was killed by Renslayer. But Loki and Sylvie were dragged to the Timekeepers for execution. But B-15 suddenly appeared to support this couple. They easily overpowered the Renslayer and the Timekeepers guards. Sylvie beheads the Timekeepers and finds that they are just androids. And who is behind it all is still a final mystery. Loki decided to confess his feelings to Sylvie. But before he could say it, he was erased by Renslayer. Loki was sent to the Void 2 reality where everything TVA erased was dropped. The Void is ruled by Alioth, a monster capable of destruction of matter and time. It is in charge of preventing those sent to the Void from returning to the real world. Here Loki was met with 4 other variations. Sylvie couldn't find what she needed. She decided to delete herself to find Loki. Sylvie, Loki and Mobius reunite in the Void and plan together to fight TVA, while Sylvie decides she will enchant Alioth to find the way escape. With the sacrifice of classic Loki, Loki and Alioth's plan succeeds perfectly. After Alioth was enchanted, a door opened to reveal both mysterious castles. In another side, after receiving the TemPad from a Sylvie, Mobius returns to TVA and cooperates with B-15 to bring the truth to light. He found Renslayer but couldn't keep her. At the same time at the castle, Loki and Sylvie meet Miss Minutes again and receive attractive offers. But both refuse to continue to find out who is behind. Soon they met He Who Remains, the founder of TVA. He was a scientist living in the 31st century, who found the existence of countless other universes. At the same time, his other variations also recognize this. And they find ways to communicate and meet. They share technology and knowledge using all their best to support other universes. However, some variations are intended to conquer other universes. And the multiversal war broke out. To protect their universe, the He Who Remains are forced to destroy the other variants. One of his variants found Alioth, a powerful monster that destroys both space and time. He Who Remains harnessed the power of Alioth to transform into a weapon and become the victor to end the multiverse war. He then isolates time and calls it Sacred Timeline. Fearing that the Great War of the Universe would return, he founded the organization TVA to manage the timeline and prevent it from branching out. He Who Remains has always kept the harmony of the universe. For many thousands of years, he sees through and knows all that has been, is and will happen. Now He Who Remains is too tired and depressed after years of management. And he gives Loki and Sylvie two options. 1. Kill him and destroy everything, then the multiverse war will take place. 2. They replaced him to run TVA to preserve the unity of the universe. Loki chooses to replace He Who Remains and Sylvie just wants revenge. Finally, Sylvie kisses Loki, then pushes him back to TVA and ends the person who caused the chaos in her life. This is also the moment when the sacred timeline branched non-stop. The multiverse of Marvel officially returned and promised a giant war. Return to TVA. Loki find Mobius and B-15 to explain to them the bad things that happened. But to their surprise, they didn't know who Loki was. He looked at the Timekeeper's statue. That has now been replaced by Kang the Conqueror, a variant of He Who Remains. Thus, we have gone through the journey of the God of Mischief. Where do you think Loki will go after this event? What universe is Loki in and how can he find Sylvie? Don't forget to leave a comment below to let me know. And now thank you for watching the whole video.